Christmas, and welcome to another classic guitar video. Tonight's video is very special, and it's been long coming. It's a very special stream dedicated to a dear friend of mine, Truthfully Tricia, here on YouTube. I've been setting this guitar aside for quite a while to do it. It's very special. It's a 1999 Epiphone Les Paul SG Custom. And the reason it's so special is because the serial number on it is 00001, which means it's the first guitar off the assembly line of the entire line of Epiphone for the year 1999. And it's an SG Les Paul custom 3 humbucker pickup. So it's kind of a one of a kind in that. They've made these guitars before, but they generally don't make them one-off like this. So again, this is for a very special friend of mine on YouTube. Her name is Truthfully Tricia. Please look her up. And her husband, too, for that matter, Tomahawk Sean. Both really good and great people. I've been friends with them for a while now. And they're really great. So let's just go ahead and get right into this guitar. But first, this stream is sponsored by Guitar Center of Glendora. Really great guitar center there, so check them out, and let's get started on this great and wonderful special guitar. So here it is, and again, it's pretty special in that it's a Epiphone Les Paul Custom SG. And its serial number, I'll show you the serial number. It'll have to be probably just a little bit sideways, but you'll see it. Yeah. Oh, there we go, that might be a little better. You can see the serial number on it and the year 1999, made in March, and it is serial number 0001, meaning it is number 1 off the assembly line for the year 1999. I bought this guitar a while back from a friend of mine. He didn't exactly realize what he had, I don't think, in that the serial number and whatnot. And they don't make too many of these SGs with 3 pickups. They're not exceedingly rare, but I'll go so far as to say they are very uncommon. And this is a one-off in that it's this color with 3 pickups and serial number 0001. So let's go ahead and just get right started, and we'll test play it real quick. We got a lot of work to do. This pickup is not the original pickup, unfortunately, but I do have an original pickup for a 1999 Epiphone. This has a chrome plate on it, but I have one with a gold tone, original 1999, so I'll swap out the covers and then I'll swap out the pickup, and then it will be 100% original. So let's test this beauty out. I don't remember it having any issues, so it should be relatively quick. Of course, it's out of tune and whatnot. Yeah, you can tell it's way out of tune and intonation and whatnot, but it does work. Switch is good. I'll do all my usual testing here. All the knobs, the tones, the 2 tones, the 2 volumes, the switch works. No popping or crackling of the jack, so that's good. There's no broken parts. So we got quite a bit of work to do on this. I should be able to get this done in one part, one night. If not, I'm more than happy to finish it tomorrow night because I am getting a late start tonight. But here it is. It's a rare piece, and I chose this guitar to dedicate this stream to my friend Truthfully Trisha, because this is a one-of-a-kind guitar, and I consider her a one-of-a-kind person. So there you have it on that. It's got all the original tuners, the original plates, everything on this guitar is 100% original, but for some reason somebody changed out this pickup to this very modern dual-poled humbucker. Not that that's bad or anything, but I want to put this guitar back to original, just because it's of its rarity and being a serial number 1 and whatnot. So we'll go ahead and detune it and get started with this. Probably the first thing I'm going to do is change this pickup out. And get that done. Get the big stuff out of the way, and then we'll do my regular things to it that I do. I will clean and polish the frets and fretboard. The pickups, the bezels, the knobs, all the hardware, the headstock, the tuners, the plates, the plastic, and then we'll go from there. It's a pretty neat guitar. I've had this guitar for a few years, about 2.5 to 3 years. Right in the middle of that, 2.5 to 3 years actually, I think. And then I decided several months ago, before the big hurricane came her way, that I was going to dedicate a stream to her and dedicate a guitar to her. And this is what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and get this off. Do that carefully so you don't drop it or break anything off of it, and set that to the side. That'll expose the frets and fretboard. The frets and fretboard are in pretty good shape condition wise, but I'm going to go ahead and do my thing to it. Here's the original bridge, which is pretty good, and we'll take off the studs for the bridge and then the studs for the tailpiece. Well, these are the studs for the tailpiece, and then I'll do the studs for the bridge. And all of this hardware will get polished, of course, as per usual. I hope everybody is having a very Merry Christmas. I know I am. So again, this guitar is a 1999 Gibson Les Paul Custom SG, and it is serial number 0001, which means it's number 1 off the assembly line for the year 1999. So that's pretty cool. And I have actually several guitars like this that are of a different year but are number 1 off the assembly line. So it's kind of cool, and it adds a little value to the guitar. And sometimes when they build number 1 off the assembly line for a year, they make kind of a special guitar, and that's what this is kind of a special guitar. It's not the one that's typically you see too many of. They are around, but not too many of them. So I'm just going to be very careful to take these knobs off. You don't want to crack them. So this guitar is 20 years old, so that's pretty good, being it's 20 years old. That's a pretty cool, neat piece. I like it. Okay, we have those off. Now I will go ahead and I will tighten all of the nuts for the knobs here. You just want to go very slow, one at a time. You don't want to go too tight because these nuts only have about 2.5 to 3 threads on them, and the shafts of the pots are only made of a light pot metal. They're not steel or stainless steel or anything, so you could very easily strip one out very quickly and very easily. So you go very slow and you'll learn to know when to stop. It's pretty easy to learn how to do that. And then we'll tighten the jack nut here. And that's pretty good. Now there is a little bit of time cracking right here. There's what's called a finish crack. In other words, just the finish is cracked, not the wood of the body. There's a finish crack here and a finish crack here, and a small one here. For not those three, this guitar would be pretty well perfect. That being said, it's still a pretty darn cool guitar. We'll go ahead and take this cover off. Yeah, it's pick guard actually. Been waiting quite a while to do this guitar in dedication of my friend, and it looks like time and sunlight has faded the finish a little bit. You can see the original was a little bit more yellow here. So with time and the oils of your hand and whatnot get on it, then that will happen. Let's flip it over real quick so we can get to the electronics cavity. Take off that cover. Shoot. Okay, pretty good so far. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. I had to check something, so let's take this cover off. Check it, it's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Oh yeah, look at the electronics. That is pretty neat. All original 500K pots. Gibson switch. Capacitors. Pretty darn nice. What I like to do is bend the tang or the tab of the jack a little bit closer in, so that way when you put the put your jack in it from your audio cable, it grabs a little bit tighter. I'm going to go ahead and take pictures of that cavity too. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Yeah. And of course we have the movie It's a Wonderful Life on. So that's cool. Okay, we'll tighten the strap button. Check it out. Now that we've got a look at the electronics, we'll flip it back over. And tighten the other button strap. And we'll flip it over again. And do the tuners, tighten the tuners up. These are the original tuners, which is good. Of course, here's the serial number again, 1999, March 0001, indicating it is number 1 off the assembly line in 1999. So that is pretty darn cool. That's why I chose this guitar to do a stream dedication to my friend, truthfully, Trisha. And her husband, Tomahawk Sean. So I'm pretty much keeping this guitar. I have no intention of really selling it unless somebody wanted to give me $800 to $1,000 for it. Maybe I would consider selling it, but other than that, this guitar is pretty well a keeper.
Kathy, this service was really a touching one for some people who were brought to tears. If you look at how they consider a fence around the church, some members telling me the building they have burned, but the church itself, its members, are still standing.
So we just watched It's a Wonderful Life. That was a pretty cool movie. I'll watch it. I'll actually watch it again tomorrow. Along with Miracle on 34th Street and some of my personal favorites. Okay, all of our tuners are nice and straight now. We'll flip it back over once again. And that is nice and tight. We'll take the truss rod cover and check the truss rod.
We had to neutralize the neurotransceiver in your upper spinal column. The link to the collective has been severed. You will return this drone to the Borg. I'm afraid I can't do that.
You will return this drone to the Borg.
If I were to turn this ship around and head back into Borg territory, I'd be putting my crew at risk. I'm not prepared to do that. Try to understand. You have to stay on board, Voyager. But I'm offering you freedom from the Borg, and I assure you...
There's the truss rod cover off. Show it to you.
And leave us on the nearest planet. The Borg will come for us.
It's too late for that. Your human cells are starting to regenerate. You won't survive without medical care. We need nothing from you. We are Borg.
There it is, pretty cool. The finish under the truss rod cover is real pretty and nice. Let's go ahead and test that truss rod.
The human immune system.
I'm sorry, but the process has gone too far. We've got to get you to sick bay.
Now, we do is we don't do any hard jamming one way or the other to test it. First I want to test just if it's real loose or not, and it's not. It's actually really good. And I've already since ran a straight edge across it, and it's where it needs to be. So that's good. Now we'll go ahead and take the Les Paul custom insignia off of it, between the pickup and the fretboard. So yeah, this is a pretty neat and special guitar. Hence why I am dedicating this stream to a friend of mine, truthfully, Trisha. I'll show you this, and I'll show you the insignia. Cool. Okay. Les Paul Custom. It is an SG though, also, so we got that. Now we got our pickup that we're going to replace in it, because this is a modern pickup that somebody since replaced over the years. They wanted a different tone, but I happen to have a 1999 Epiphone Les Paul SG pickup. Now this is a chrome cover, but I also have a gold tone cover, so that should work very well. Make sure our wire is going to be long enough, and it looks like it is. So we'll just go ahead and start taking this pickup off of it and out of it. And then we'll unsolder this one, solder the new one in. And we shouldn't have any problems, issues, or glitches with this project. And if we do, I'll make it a two-part video tomorrow, Christmas. But I don't think we'll need to do that. I think it'll go pretty well. Okay. You just very gently pull a little bit out. And I'll keep this pickup. This is a good pickup. There's nothing wrong with this pickup. It's just, it doesn't belong on the guitar, so we'll change it out, you know, to an original one. Now, some have said, well, why not just leave it? I could leave it, but then it wouldn't be original, and I'm trying to keep this guitar original as best I can. Okay, so I'm going to get my soldering gun out and get it heated up and ready. And this should go fairly fast, barring any problems. And I am 99.9% sure that that pickup that I'm going to replace is good. It came out of a good guitar. So. So we shouldn't have any issues with that.
Long-range sensors are picking up residual transwarp signatures.
So we had a good day today. Made some guitar sales, some Star Wars collectible toy sales, which you guys know I do. I had a bunch of people come over look at pianos today. 8 people, in fact, altogether. No sales, no piano sales out of those 8. But usually that's a big purchase. People are not going to make a snap decision to buy right then and there. So we did that today. And I just received a brand new in the box to the right of me, a IYV Jaguar. So that'll be a project for next week. Okay, so let's go ahead and preheat so we can take this pickup off. I'm not going to grab it with my hands because it'll be hot. So I'll grab it with my little needle nose here to grab the wires off after I heat them up. Okay. See, that's all the amount it took. It didn't take much. And then we'll take the other wire and very carefully. And now it is disconnected from the main pot. Now we can just go like this and pull the wires through. And gently flip the guitar back over. And pull the pickup out. And there we have it. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with this pickup. It's perfectly good. I will say I already know what other project I'm going to put this pickup in, so I'll clean it up and it'll go in that guitar later on this winter.
Body armor, board organelles, biosynthetic glands, they're all being rejected. Her life is in danger.
So we have to do two things to this pickup that I'm going to be replacing here.
Hence the difficult decision.
One, we have to change out the cover from the chrome one to the gold one. And to do that, they ground these with solder, one side and then the other side. So that means I have to unsolder it. So we will do that next. So I'll move the guitar over a little tiny bit to give me a little bit of working space. And we'll heat this sucker up. And then you just slightly bend it over to get it out. And that'll be it. The cover should come readily off. So let's do the easier one first. There's one over here that's a little easier to do, I think. It might take a little bit of effort to heat this up because it's a lot of metal. Moving a little bit now. Sometimes you have to be fast enough to. I'm gonna have to use a smaller screwdriver, because I can't get it in the thing there. And you just use a screwdriver as a wedge to wedge it out. This might take a little bit of effort because the solder's in between there, so.
The implant is deteriorating. The nervous system is stabilizing. Nice work, yes. Unconventional. Effective.
Come on. Sometimes it takes some effort to get it.
Will Travel, part of the Good Guys at Sunrise. Weekday mornings at 8, 7 Central.
They use some pretty good solder at the factory, so.
Toothpaste that whitens my teeth, or one that's good for my teeth. Now I don't have to choose. From Crest 3D White, the whitening therapy collection with new.
Take a little bit of effort, like I said. It's just the way it is. You gotta heat this sucker up. this to move, you know. Might have to put it in a vise. I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see. So it's getting pretty hot. It's gonna take some effort to get it off, I think. Oh, there it goes. Sometimes all it takes is just heating it up. You don't need to get the solder molten. You just need to get it hot so you can weaken it and pry it off. That is usually the case. And I don't want to destroy this cover because I'll use this cover on another guitar. So. Okay.
In this case, it's a little bit more.
Come on.
I fabricated this artificial organ to replace her eyepiece, but I've had to retain some of the Borg circuitry among the
A little bit more.
As a result, you'll have increased acuity in one eye. Notice how perfectly I
Sometimes it takes some effort, so not a big deal. Definitely harder to unsolder it than it is to solder it back, that's for sure.
She's out of immediate danger.
That is faux show.
Process until tomorrow. I can make her now if you like.
I would. How are you, Cass? I feel exhilarated, Captain. I've never been so focused in my life, and my telepathic abilities are
There it goes, I think I heard it crack.
Performance today was astonishing.
Yep.
However, your psychokinetic powers are still undisciplined, and
Like I said, you're not trying to make the solder molten, you're just trying to get it hot enough to do that. See?
What are you suggesting?
There we go.
a series of guided meditations.
Not bad. Ooh, it's hot. It's a little hot. A little hot toddy. Okay, the tang on the mount is a little crooked and bent from being stored, so I will go ahead and I will flatten that out and fix it. This is just made of a thin copper. Okay, we're doing pretty good here. Very good. So that's an original pickup.
What have you done to me? Your body was rejecting the Borg technology.
So now we'll go ahead and take out the parts for the gold. Whoops. Gold tone one. And here's the original, an original bezel. Okay. Make sure the holes match up, and it's correct, and it is, of course.
This drone cannot survive outside the collective.
Very good.
Borg implants are being excised. Your immune systems are free to
Yeah.
and thriving they are. As a matter of fact,
So we got all the mounting screws for this. So that's pretty good. We got these springs. I don't know why there's... Oh, I see. I don't know what that is. Okay. So these we won't need. Save them for yet another project. But we do need the springs. 2 springs. And we do need the 2 screws. You always want to test the holes and make sure they're correct. And of course those aren't. So, with that being said,
One force. One line.
Silence is unacceptable. We need the others.
I can't give you back to the Borg, but you're not. You're part of a human community now. A human collective. We may be individuals, but we live and work together. You can have some of the unity you require right here on Voyager.
Okay, we got a slight problem here. The screws don't match. Unless the holes are stripped. And they're not. I'm looking right at the threads. I see the threads in there. Okay, so gonna have to do something for the screws here. But we do have the springs. So I'm gonna have to see what I've got for see what I have for
I think I've got all the Borg garbage out of the plasma intake manifold. Let's try reinitializing the antimatter reaction.
screws. Oops. There we go. Now we're fitting that in, and then we'll solder it here in a bit. Ooh, it's over to the side, isn't it? Interesting.
What happened?
Intake manifolds 11 and 13 are still blocked.
This is like pulling a weed. You think you've got them all out, and then
You have neglected to remove the autonomous regeneration sequencers.
The Pandora, that's new. You remember second man.
How could we forget?
We can't afford to delay repairs any longer.
Okay, the holes on this cover doesn't match. Oh my. Okay. It is Epiphone. They do have that.
they're in Jeffrey's tube 13.
Jeffrey's tube 13 out with section 12.
Okay, well, we'll figure something out here in a second. I always do.
You want to recall the way it looked before you turned it into a surface? Yes. I want updates every hour. Yes, Captain.
The flame of the lamp is fired, tamed, and under control. It is the appropriate focus for the task ahead of us.
How do we begin?
We will attempt to guide you, manipulating the flame at the subatomic level. Concentrate on the flame. Try to see patterns of the surface. Patterns of energy and matter.
Might have to use a different humbucker.
Good. Now reach out with your mind
Ooh, that one's ugly.
and intensify the flame.
Good. 7.4. That is ugly, mother.
Now with your thoughts.
Of course, the holes match. Oh my. Okay.
Excellent. You've never demonstrated this level of control before.
It's as though I knew it had to be done.
What's wrong?
Something's happening. I can see further beyond the subatomic.
Yes. There is nothing beyond the subatomic.
But I can see too far.
Okay, I'm gonna have to keep looking for a better humbucker because this one's not gonna work. That's disappointing. I'll find something. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just a little disappointing. I thought that pickup was gonna work. Well, I do have many other pickups, so I'm not too majorly
What about these linkers?
worried.
Every time
Let's see, I think I have more over here.
autonomous regeneration sequencers.
Nope,
They function to counteract.
I moved them. Okay.
Pattern duplication design.
We came up with nothing. The Borg assimilated this technology in galactic cluster
looking.
Let's disconnect each sequencer conduit at the insertion junction.
I thought you'd work in the dentistry.
Black Warner.
Stuff from species 259. Who are they?
Yeah, we do have this pickup. It's actually brand spanking new.
Use the board with a lot of people, don't they?
Ooh, and it's a Gibson one. I'll save that one for a Gibson. That's what I thought. That's like a $200, $250 pickup. It's very expensive. Not that I wouldn't put it in there, but it, oh, here we go. I think. No. Nope. Okay, keep it open. Might have to use a different pickup because it's not, the holes are not matching up with the even though it's Epiphone, there might be a slightly later earlier generation pickup matched to a later generation cover. So this one matches perfectly, so it's the right generation. Might have to use this pickup instead, which is okay. Not that big of a deal. We'll just put the cover back on this one, and we'll do that one. Let's save this pickup for another guitar. We're making pretty good time, so I'm not worried about it. Need to clean this pickup off. It's a little dirty with waxy wax. We'll take one of the screws and make sure they work, and they do.
There is a calm, level-headed voice of reason.
Screw it in a little further, make sure it does work all the way, and it does. So that works. Okay, so we're good. We're golden on that one. We are golden on that one. Okay. Now we'll put the cover on it. 744. You always want to make sure everything is copacetic, so I want to test everything, make sure it fits in the cavity and all that good stuff, you know.
Thanks, Miss Johnson. Thanks, Mom.
Look, isn't that Frank Thomas?
The big birds.
More like the big hug. Wow, Frank Thomas.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. You look like you could still be playing. That's what I said.
Well, I am feeling stronger and leaner. So, Frank, what's your secret? I discovered eugenics.
I wish my husband did.
It's easy.
Yeah, this one's not quite fitting right either. Is it a little deeper? It might be a little deeper. Pickup, I don't know. Oh my. This one might not work either because the pickup is a little deeper, I think. In other words, it's a thicker pickup. Yeah, it is. It's thicker by about another little less than a quarter of an inch. Okay. I still might be able to make, I think I'll make it work, though. I'm pretty sure. We'll see. I think so.
But your care and compassion is timeless.
Advancing your career means helping more patients and providing even more care.
Just have to push it a little further into the
Online programs in nursing make it easier for you to become the
casing for it.
Find your purpose at GCU, where
I
advanced
think I can get it to work though.
Christian, affordable, nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu/online.
Bringing our quality products direct to your door. Hi, I'm John Florell, the Full Brush Man. Knocking on your screen to bring you the best products you've ever seen. Introducing Roto Sweep, the hard floor sweeper from the Fuller Brush Company. It's a rotating broom with its own dustpan that puts the power to clean up any mess right in the palm of your hand. Now you can safely clean tile, marble, linoleum, or any hardwood floors with no scuffing or scratching. Look, you wouldn't break out your big vacuum just to clean up this load.
Isn't there nice?
Why is it when you sweep by hand, you never get all the dirt into the pan?
And I think it'll be okay.
Batteries to recharge.
I'll have to
As Roto Sweep rolls across the floor,
screw the.
fills up more and more. Whether it's wet or dry, you've got
Oh
to
yeah,
give this a
that'll
try.
work.
The secret are the triple rotating brushes that loosen, lift,
Just gonna have to move the
right into the onboard dustpan.
pickup pole height a little bit more,
And a full flat
which is
handle
not a big deal.
clean under your furniture. And with Roto Sweep's unique edge cleaning
Adjusting the pickup pole height.
in and under to clean baseboards, walls, and toe kicks. Plus, Roto Sweep is lightweight. It's less than 2 pounds, and it makes no sounds. Broken glass on the floor? Not anymore. Look how Roto Sweep gets every last yard. Now that's awesome. Cat food, dog food, kitty litter, pet hair. With Roto Sweep, it's like it was never there. Call or go online to get the original Roto Sweep for the factory direct price of just $19.99.
Yeah.
Remember, the original Roto Sweep is from the Fuller Brush Company, making quality products you've trusted since 1906. Call or go
And the
online.
guy I bought it from, I asked him if he had the original pickup, and he said no. The guy he got it from didn't have it, so
Just pay a small fee.
unfortunately.
Value for one low price.
Otherwise, I would have been putting that sucker right back where it was.
I can tell by the expression on your face that you've got some bad news.
But that's okay.
However,
It'll be alright.
the news on two separate fronts is not good. I checked the subspace bandwidths. At least a partial signal was transmitted from Voyager.
Enough for a Borg ship to track?
Possibly.
And the second front?
I believe there's also cause for concern regarding Kess.
Oh, yeah.
In terms
Well, I think we've got a winner here. So I'll put this one back, and we'll just use this on a different project. Not a big deal. Now we know the screws work, so that's good. Now this has a few more connections to it, so we're going to have to
Wait for me.
see about those. Red, black, and ground. So we're going to need black, we're going to need ground, and we're going to need red.
Decided to keep you in the gray.
Green and white we're not going to utilize. So we'll just twist these like this out of the way.
I honestly believed you were going to help us.
You were not deceived, Captain Janeway. It was my intention to help you.
What happened?
There was a chance to contact the collective. I took advantage of it.
So once we twist these,
You'll tell us
I'll cut the ends of them off so they don't ground out, because they're exposed, the tips are exposed.
will betray you.
So we'll take those off.
I've met Borg who were fresh from the collective. It wasn't easy for them to accept their individuality, but in time they did. You're no different. Granted, you were assimilated at a very young age.
And then we'll make fresh strips.
If it does happen, we will become
And then we'll pre-tint them with solder here in a second.
Yes, I hope so.
we will be autonomous, independent.
That one's good, I'm not going to bother with that one.
If at that time we choose to return to the collective.
And I'm gonna go ahead and
I don't think you'll want to do that.
solder the cover to the
Deny us the choice.
to the pickup. So here we go.
Have imprisoned us in the name of humanity.
So other than a small hiccup with the pickup, get it? Hiccup with the pickup? We're doing pretty good. We're making pretty good time. Not that I'm in a big rush, but it's going pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it so far.
Return us to the collective.
We want to get this nice and hot so I can get some good solder in there.
They took that from you, and until I'm convinced you've gotten it back, I'm making the choice for you. You're staying here.
Then you are no different than the Borg.
And all this does is ground the pickup to the pickup cover. And some people, when they build a guitar and they're not too astute at building guitars, they forget to do this. And then when they plug the guitar in and touch the pickup, they wonder, scratch their head wondering why it's grounding out so much. So that's why.
To the adventure.
The adventure.
We're just adding a little extra solder to this. Alright, and there we go on that.
And you have.
I don't think some of our time is exactly where we planned.
I was really hoping for that.
Now I need to pre-tint the one here.
No, I couldn't have gone this far.
So I use a tool to hold it in place so it's not moving around, and then I can pre-tint the wire with solder. So we'll do that.
It's just...
My cooking. You've always hated my cooking.
And that's all. The wire is very thin. You don't want to overdo it, or you'll start melting and cooking the insulation. So you don't want to do that.
Tell me more about what you
Okay, let's move the guitar back
I don't know, and that's what makes
so you can see it in all its glory.
a place with distinction between matter
And
and the thought no longer
then we'll go ahead and we will match the
and that's only the beginning.
pickup to the bezel.
I feel as if all the boundaries within me
Bezel's a little bit warped, but it's been in a package for a while, so I'll go ahead and take some polish to it and clean the bezel up while it's up and available here.
the space between the atoms.
Oh, I didn't want that much polish for corn's sake. Whoa. My. Way too much polish. It's okay, I'll polish the top of that.
Captain, I'm picking up some strange energy readings from deck 2. The mess hall.
What's going on down there?
I'll give the first polish of the pickup.
The bulkhead in that section is coming apart. Increase the structural integrity things of deck 2.
I love gold tone, but it tarnishes very, very fast and very, very easily and very, very much. It's just the nature of gold tone, although I do like it very much.
This holiday season, celebrate the winter.
So again, this guitar is pretty special. It's a 1999 Epiphone Les Paul Custom SG. The reason it's special is because it is serial number 0001, meaning it was the first guitar off the assembly line for Epiphone in the year 1999, March. So that's pretty neat. So I am dedicating this guitar and stream to my friend on YouTube here, Truthfully Trisha. And you can check her out at Truthfully Trisha here on the YouTube. And get to know her. Don't judge her from what other people say, because more times than not, other people are just mimicking what other people are saying because they figure, well, it must be true because they're saying it. Get to know her first, as I did. I've actually known her and known of her for several years. Not many years, but several years. I know that sounds strange, but I've known her long before she was on Dr. Phil's show. I've known of her long before she was on the show. And she's a really great and wonderful and special person, and so is her husband, Sean, Tomahawk Sean. You can check him out too. He's really great. Smart guy, nice guy. Really great couple, really great people. Yeah. I've been staunch supporters of them. Always have been, always will be. That's just plain, pure, and simple. Plain, pure, and simple. Okay, so we've now polished the pickup and pickup bezel and made the first polish of the pickup cover, and I'll make another polish. This is just, I put too much polish on my rag, so I had to use it for something. So I'm using it for the first polish of the guitar pickup here. So that's what it looks like, and here's what it looks like after I just polished it and put the cover, soldered up cover on it. So we'll double check our cavity, make sure the cavity is good, and I'll polish around where the bezel is supposed to be, so we can get that clean under the bezel. And they don't make too many SGs with 3 pickups. They don't make very many at all. They make plenty with a pickup here and a pickup here, but not 3 pickups. They are out there, but they're pretty uncommon. They're pretty uncommon. Okay. So let's feed the wires through. The wires are always supposed to be on the bottom, the end, the high E, if you will. I need to put the springs in and the screw, so I will do that right now. And you want to make sure, let's see, it needs to go the other direction. It goes the other way. I always check the mounting, because pickups have a rake to them. Pickup bezels, they're not, one end is thicker than the other, in other words, and they have a rake to them, typically like that. So you just want to always make sure you have that rake. And we'll put our screw in and our spring, and then we can start screwing this sucker in. Get a couple threads started. And then do the other one, and of course I'm getting my fingerprints all over it, so I'll have to polish it again, but that's alright. So screw, spring,
My designation is 7 of 9. But the other
okay. Screw it in a little bit, and I'll wipe off my measly fingers prints on it that I just put on it after I just polished it.
cannot function this way. Alone.
You're not alone. I'm willing to help you.
Yeah, I got my fingerprints all over it. I hate that. But you have to touch it in order to work on it. So there is that. Okay, now we can go ahead and put the pickup in. We can feed the wires through.
What are you doing?
I'm coming in.
I'll kill you.
I don't think you will.
This might be a little hard because there's other wires in the way and whatnot, so I might have to twist all the wires together like this, so that way I can feed them through and then untwist the ones I need when it gets on the other end. It's the only way I can do it.
Do you remember?
It's still not working very well. It's like a piece of wood or something in the way in there. Oh, it's got some wood chips in there.
There's still a lot we don't know about her.
And this is in the way. Okay. Okay.
I can't do that. One voice can be stronger than 1,000 voices. Your mind is independent now with its own unique identity.
There we go.
Forcing that identity upon me. It's not mine.
Yes, it is.
Now we're cooking with gas.
The existence you were denied. The child who never had a chance. That life is yours to live now.
Oh no. Wait a minute. Well, oh, that's okay. Never mind. Okay. I was thinking something else. See, there it is in all its glory. Ain't she a beaut? Ain't she a doozy? As my dad used to say. She's a real doozy. So, now what do I need? Now I need... Where are the screws? The pickup. Put this back. Oh, those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ugh. I'm getting my screws mixed up here, I think. Oh no. I guess I am. Oh man. Where's my screws? I'm missing some screws. I set them here somewhere. I am missing screws. Huh. I'm missing the mounting screws. I very rarely do this because I'm very organized, but for some reason. Okay. Oh, here they are, right in front of me. Okay. Duh. Okay. small bezel.
Call 1-800-642-1828. That's 1-800-642-1828.
Not sure I'm liking this bezel.
Limited 5 groups per caller, so don't
I'm gonna see if I got a better one. It's okay, but I'm not 100% happy with it. So we'll check. As you can see, I've got a few bezels here, so I'm not needing of bezels, that is for sure. Let's see if I got a better one. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, I think I like this bezel better. I think. Yeah. I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bezels, so yeah. Yeah, that one's better. I'm gonna change the bezel out. You can always make something a little better when you're putting something together, you know. So I'm gonna change this bezel out. It's not a big process or deal. It'll just take a minute. And it'll fit better and it'll look better. This one fits okay, but not 100%. It's not quite the right size bezel. It's like a front bezel, because there's different bezels of different thicknesses. Because as you go from the front to the back, the bezels gets bigger. So with that said, I'm going to change the bezel out to this other bezel. A better bezel. Okay. There's one. And there's two. And I'm going to be much happier with this bezel, other bezel. Ooh, good thing I caught that. Okay, old bezel, new bezel. You don't want to knock it around too much. You can put dents in the thing, so you don't want to do that. Make sure you got them right. Getting it. We're getting it. Flip the other side over. Screw and spring.
The molecule begins by destabilizing. It's interfering with the transporter.
Captain, we can't get along.
Acknowledged. Looks like we're gonna have to do this the hard way.
Okay, we're making progress. Oh, this is gonna fit a lot better. I'm telling you right now. Oh, much better. Fits better, looks better, is better. Plain, pure, and simple. Oh goodness, yeah. No comparison. And see, I have my parts arranged to year, make, and model. So the bezel I just put on is also a 1999 bezel. So everything's gonna match. It is all copacetic. This guitar is gonna be awesome when it's done. And again, this is a 1999 Epiphone Les Paul Custom SG, and it is number 00001 off the assembly line, which means it was the first guitar produced for the year 1999 for Epiphone. So that's why I'm dedicating this guitar and stream to my friend, Truthfully Tricia, and her husband, Tomahawk Sean, here on YouTube. Okay, let's flip this guitar over and flip it over so we can see the electronics, and then I can solder it on. Oh, where's my... Oh, there it is. I was like, where are my pieces? I was like, what the heck? I was like, what the what?
9,500 light years from where we just were.
Now we need the black and the shielded and the red and the unshielded, which is just another ground. So we're going to use these three, and we're going to omit the green and the white. Now, I would not omit the green and white if like, I was going to have wire pickup tapping, coil tapping. If it was coil tapped, then I would utilize that, but it isn't, so you don't need to. So we're going to solder the ground and this one to it, and then we'll be golden brown.
Hi, I'm Steve Perillo with Perillo Tours.
Am I going to be able to fit that through? Probably not. Well, I'll try it. Shoot. Okay, not a big deal. I'll just do it. There we go. There we go. Trying to get it into the original factory zip ties there. Okay, so we want black, red, and then unshielded. Let's go ahead and solder the unshielded first, I think. Or I mean the hot first. So let's go ahead and do that.
It is acceptable.
Fashion, of course, is hardly my forte. Nevertheless, I managed to balance functionality and aesthetics in a pleasing enough manner. I also took a liberty of stimulating your hair follicles. A vicarious experience for me, as you might imagine.
Oop, it didn't take.
You'll have to spend a few hours each day regenerating in a blog alcove so your human metabolism can function on its own. We'll leave one operational. Understood. I'll see how things go over the next few weeks.
Careful.
I'll consider granting you access to the institution. Once I can trust that you won't try to get us all assimilated again. It will not happen again. Good. If you need anything, contact me.
Okay, here we go.
Red.
What?
The child you spoke of, the girl.
Her favorite color was red.
Okay, you want to give it a little light tug just to make sure your starter is good. You don't want to pull hard because the wire is very, very thin, and you don't want to mess up the wire. So you only got so much wire in these, and if you break them off, then you need more, and it's too short. You either have to solder more to it, or take the harness out and take the pickup apart and put a new harness in it, which, you know, I've done before, but it's not a pleasant thing to have to necessarily do. You shouldn't have to do it. So, that being said, now since this one's unshielded, I'm going to have to hold it with my pliers because it'll get hot and I won't be able to hold it long enough for the solder to dry. So if I hold it with these, oh, I should be fine. On one side, one on the other side, actually.
Absolutely.
This is H&I.
We're in bad shape. I can't deny that. But we're still in one piece. Enterprise is a tough ship. She took more than anyone could ask her to, and then some. And so have all of you. I wanted to say thank you.
Okay.
I only wish I could thank the 18 crewmen who were lost. Like you, they understood how important our mission is, and they accepted the risks. We came into the expanse not knowing what we'd find, with no one to rely on but ourselves. Finish our mission.
Give it a little tug, and there it's good. Now, it's all good. It's golden. It is golden, golden. We'll twist these wires nice and tight so they're out of the way. Push all the wires down. Make sure they're all out of the way. Whew. Well, it took a little longer than I wanted because I had to pick another pickup. But other than that, it's pretty good. I'll be right back. I need a fresh drink. Okay. I'll take a fresh picture. Fresh picture of the work, and then we'll continue.
That accounts for it.
What's our status on weapons?
Mr. Ridd has both forward phase cannons back online, in addition to the aft torpedo launchers. Hull plating is up to 80%.
That'll have to do. We could wait. Bring back until I got a chance to make more repairs.
Dagger's message was clear.
Okay. Here we have it, folks. Let's see, what do I need to do next? take a file and file the tip of the tang of the jack just a little bit, and just lightly file it. What that does is that makes a nice, clean, sharp connection. And you'll be less likely to have hum and buzz and grounding and shorting out. So it's always good. So I'll do that real quick. Double check it and look everything over. And I think I'm pretty satisfied with my work, so I'm going to go ahead and put the cover back on. Give it a quick wipe down on the inside. Inside you don't need to polish. And just a light blow. That'll blow out any metal shavings or wood chips or anything like that. And then we will put back our cover.
My usual techniques for suppressing them haven't been effective.
On Earth, there is a cautionary tale about the dangers of releasing a magical creature called a genie from a bottle. Once it's out, it's extremely difficult to put back in.
These emotions may never subside.
You used Trillium for 3 months. It caused significant damage to your neural pathways. You may have to learn to live with these emotions.
We're approaching the coordinates, Captain. Right on schedule. No ship's out there, sir. No ship.
Scanning all frequencies. Nothing so far.
Maybe they're running late.
Okay. Let's put this sucker back together. And what I'll do is I'll plug it in even with the strings and bridge off and test it. Make sure it's working. You don't want to put all the strings back and everything back on and then you have an issue because then you got to take everything back off. And you don't want that.
Receiving a transmission. Stay grounded. It's telling us to follow it. They're railing us.
I see you found my message. We have a great deal to discuss, and I don't have much time.
Okay. Flip it back over.
If we left you with the reptilians, they would have killed you.
I'm going to plug it back in. And then what I'll do is I'll just tap the pickup with my finger. And that should tell me if it's active or not. Make sure I got all my connections right. And I'm 99% sure I did. So.
Everything I've told you is true.
Forgive me. But the council will need more than your word. Perhaps you can demonstrate your ability to time travel.
That might be a bit difficult. If you come aboard my ship, I can give you all the proof you want.
Yeah, I think we're golden.
Very well.
But there's some things that I want to know first.
Such as.
When will your weapon be ready?
Okay, so I'll continue work.
Please. Dave,
To the council.
I'm trying to help you. But I need to know.
And let's see. Yeah, I'll just do my first polish. Make sure the nut there is tight on that. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. We will start our polishing. I'm doing this backwards though. Well, not really, it doesn't matter. I'll start with polishing the frets in the fretboard, so let's do that. Take my before picture.
Damage reports?
No.
Okay. We'll get this done, Johnny, on the spot.
That was 2 days ago. Go to your room. Get some sleep. For you.
Okay. Alright, let's get started. Here we go, folks. Now maybe I'll move my camera angle a little bit for you guys so you can actually see. Yeah, that's not much better, is it? I need to hook up my other camera. It's a little better, but not much. Nope, I'll just put it back where it was. Alright, here we go, folks. Whew, that gives you a workout, that's for sure. One more time, just on the fret blade.
Samples are not available.
take a fresh rag, wipe it down. We'll see how dirty it was. "12 runs across it." I'll do the other side. See? That's pretty wild. Now we'll do in between the frets. And barring any problems that we're going to have with this pickup, then the guitar will be done. And if there is something wrong with this pickup, I'll have to make this into a 2-part video and finish tomorrow. And during the day tomorrow, Christmas, I will choose a second pickup. But it should be fine. Okay. So yeah, the frets and the fretboard. The frets have minimal wear, but they're still good. The fretboard is in excellent condition. It has real mother of pearl block inlays, so that's pretty neat. And again, this is a 1999 Epiphone Les Paul Custom SG. And I'm dedicating this guitar and guitar stream to my good friend here on YouTube, Truthfully Trisha, and her husband, Tomahawk Sean. Two really great people. The fretboard is a real rosewood fretboard. They made this guitar a little more special than your typical Epiphone SG Les Paul Custom, in that it's 3 pickup and jumbo frets, rosewood fretboard, premium rosewood fretboard. This isn't just kind of like a regular. It's a premium. It would be called like a AAA wood select. And they made it in cream, antique cream white. And it is pretty cool. The headstock, top of the headstock, is abalone inlaid with their logo and Epiphone and bound. It's a really cool guitar, and I'm very lucky to have it. I've had this guitar for a few years now. I bought it from a friend of mine, and even he didn't realize the serial number, because when I buy a new guitar, I log the year, make, model, color, description, and the serial number. And I looked at the serial number, and it was going 0001, which means it's the first guitar of that first model year. And I called him back and I was all, "Hey, did you realize the serial number was that?" And he was like, he didn't even notice, really. So that was pretty amazing. And tonight's show is also brought to you by Guitar Center of Glendora. They're really good friends of mine there. And I used to work at that store back in the early 1990s. Well, they've since moved. They've been there at the new location for a year, but it's still the same store, same people even. But I worked at that store in the early 1990s. good time on this guitar. I don't have any worries with it so far. My only concern is going to be with that pickup, something being not right with it or it doesn't work. But I usually don't keep non-working pickups, or if I do have a non-working pickup, I mark it as non-working. I put a tag on it and it says non-working, and then I can, you know, use it for parts. I can use the pole pieces, I can use the magnets, I could use the harness or something out of it eventually. So I never throw them away, I always keep them, because you can always use parts off of them. So here we go, yeah. We're pretty good on this fretboard, I think. I'm pretty happy with it. Look at that.
You recognize this species?
Take a bit after picture.
Some kind of cellular degeneration. It started the moment he was taken off the ship.
Perhaps our atmosphere was toxic to him. I believe our universe was toxic to him.
The species evolved in different dimensions, or different set of physical laws. He simply didn't exist here.
Oh yeah,
That's why his species built the
big difference.
to make our space more compatible for themselves. Subjects sent here to see.
Okay. Oh yeah, fretboard's beautiful. Fretboard's beautiful. See the shine on it? The frets in the fretboard. Beautiful. Okay, now I can continue polishing on the body, the pickups,
That'll never happen. You'll be condemning your own race to extinction.
then do the hardware, the knobs, top of the headstock, the tuners. Time is kind of drawing short, and I've got about 40 more minutes that I want to work on this guitar. And if it has to be a 2-day project, that's fine. I kind of anticipated it might be a 2-day project, but that's fine. You know, I don't want to rush it. It's a special guitar for the stream is for a special person, so that's okay if it's a 2-dayer. That's not a big deal. It is a pretty neat guitar.
Trouble sleeping, sir?
You or you? This whole section decompressed. Did you find a sealed compartment?
No.
Then how? You're dead.
A letter. How's it going?
I got as far as I regret to inform you.
That's a little dry, sir.
You're not real.
Yeah, this has turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it.
The letter doesn't have to be
We had a little hiccup with the pickup. Get it? We had a hiccup with the pickup. The pickup wasn't going to work that I chose for it. Even though it is Epiphone, it's another generation one, and it was a little bit, the size was not quite fitting in the cavity. Especially the bezel, and I had to also choose another bezel. Again, not a big deal. So we chose another bezel and another pickup, both Epiphone, and still 1999 year matching the guitar. So we're all good on that aspect of it.
That one time I found the glitch in the ejector assembly that everyone else missed. Tell them how hard I work. Tell them how much you like me. Can't you look at me? Just remember. Is that asking so much?
Yes.
Why?
So yeah, we're doing pretty good on this. Pretty happy with it. This guitar is in pretty good shape. For not the finish crack here, here, and here, the guitar would be perfect. But for being 20 years old, it's pretty darn good. I can't complain too much on a 20-year-old guitar, so can't complain too much. So this is going to be pretty nice, pretty good when we're done. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why that's like that. Oh, okay. I was seeing something else. Okay. Okay, now we'll give the other two pickups a polish. I already polished that one, but I'll polish it a second time too, just because I've been touching it, so. And I'll raise the pickup level on the other two here so I can do the sides. So to do that, you just raise the pickups a little bit at a time on each side. Until it stops. You do each side a little bit at a time. You don't want to do one side fully. Otherwise it'll bind and you might break the bezel or strip out a screw or something. And you don't want to break anything. It's 20 years old and I don't want to break any original parts. Pretty happy with the frets and fretboard came out. It's pretty darn nice. Pretty darn nice. Okay, now we can do the sides of the pickup here, see? And I'll show you the rag here in a minute. It's really dirty already. Polishing the sides of the pickup serves two purposes, not just for make it look pretty and aesthetics. If you have sides that are all corroded and dirty and dusty, when you go to do pickup adjustments, you know, it could bind on all that corrosion or dust or whatever you happen to have accumulated on the sides. So having polished ones help. They really and actually do. I've had people try and argue that with me and say, well, no, it doesn't. And I actually have I've actually proved it to people before. And they go, show me a guitar that you have that's really hard to adjust the pickups up and down that has covers like this. And they would show it to me, and they would be gold tone, and they would be really corroded. So I'd adjust them up, polish them, and voila. Problem solved. No more binding. And they'd be like, what? You gotta be kidding me that actually works. And they're like really shocked and awed. It's like, well, something clean and polished is going to move better than something that is dirty, corroded. That's just kind of a given.
claims to know a great deal about the Spears.
I know you've had doubts about
So we're doing pretty good here. We'll polish a little more on these and get these done. Now we'll just work until 1. And if this happens to turn into a 2-day project, then it'll be a 2-day project. I kind of foresaw that it might be. So I'm not too disappointed. I want to have fun with it too. I don't want to rush and be all like, well, I have to get this done tomorrow because someone's coming to buy it or anything. Because this guitar is pretty much a keeper. Unless somebody wants to give me like $800, $1,000 for it. Then I'm keeping this guitar because it's a special guitar. Ooh, bezels are coming out pretty nice. And I'll probably have to do them twice because I'll have to do them twice. But that's okay too. It's looking really nice. I mean, you can't expect it to look factory fresh and 100% because it's 20 years old, for one thing. But other than that, I think most people, after I get done with it, will look at it and go, wow, this is in really good shape for being 20 years old. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to go at a good pace, and again, this is for a friend of mine. I'm dedicating the stream, that is, to my friend, truthfully, Trisha. I'm dedicating this guitar. Reason being, the guitar is a one-off and unique, and she is one-off and unique. So hence why I chose this guitar to dedicate a stream for her. So yeah, that's why. I'll probably have to polish the top twice, and I still need to polish the bezels, so we got a few more things to do before we can start putting it back together, and I gotta polish the hardware and stuff like that, so we got a little ways to go here. I gotta polish the bezels still. And right now I'm going to set the pickup holes to a good factory reset height. Sometimes the grooves, the slots for the screws have wax in them. So you kind of have to clean out the wax. Otherwise, if you try and turn it, you're going to strip it out. Most people don't realize that. So sometimes you have to be very careful and clean out a little bit of the wax. And then you can go ahead and adjust the pickup hole height. You want to be careful cleaning out the groove, otherwise you'll go whoops and you'll scratch the surface of the pickup cover. You don't want to do that either. You want to use a real nice, good quality, sharp, flat screwdriver. If you use something that's the wrong size, you're going to regret it. You don't want to use some cheap Harbor Freight screwdriver or something. You want to use a good quality screwdriver. These are good screwdrivers. These are Wera screwdrivers. Lifetime warranty, ultra high quality, laser etched tips, machined tips, really good quality. Expensive, but worth their weight. My brother bought me this set for Christmas 3 years ago. It'll be tomorrow. I have yet to need to replace one of them, because they do have a lifetime warranty. One is starting to need replacing, my small Phillips that I've been talking about. But other than that, it's... Yeah, yeah, I have to polish them twice too because I'm getting some of the wax on it. So.
Instead of waiting in line to cash your check, I can never see myself standing in line at a bank again. With your own NetSpend prepaid card and direct deposit, there's no waiting to cash paychecks, government benefit checks, or waiting for a tax refund check to come in the mail. Your money loads directly onto your NetSpend card. For you to shop online, pay bills, buy groceries, use anywhere debit MasterCard is accepted. I use it
So again, this is a 1999 Epiphone Les Paul Custom SG. And it was made in 1999, and it is special because the serial number on it is 0001, meaning it was the first guitar off the assembly line in 1999. And I chose this guitar to do a special dedication stream to, truthfully, Trisha. And chose this guitar because she's unique and one of a kind friend, and this guitar is unique and one of a kind. Okay. Okay, we're getting it. I pretty much know the factory settings on the pull heights. I've been doing it so many years that just by feel I know how to do it. Okay. I think we're copacetic on all these. Oh. I'll be right back.
Oh, yes, yes. Take me with you. Call now for your free brochure. Call in the next 30 minutes and get this free $100 gift card. And don't forget to ask about our Hawaii tours. Call 800-374-3118.
Oh, I better turn my lightsaber off. Thought you guys might like that. A little kick out of that. Okay, still got quite a bit of work to do, so. Oh. Go ahead and polish the pickups a little more. Whoa, I put too much polish on there, dang it. Oh yeah. Well, when I put too much polish on my rag, I don't want to waste it, so I'll just, you know, kind of restart a polish on another aspect of the guitar, and then I'll go back to this. Reason being is because if you just wham it onto the pickup, you'll jam the wax down the holes of the pickup poles, and I don't like to do that, so I don't want to do that. I don't like to do that, and I don't want to do that. So I think we're doing pretty good here. And I don't want the pickups, or the entire guitar for that matter, to be too shiny and too perfect and too good. You want some of that patina. You really do. At least I do, you know. You want to keep some of the patina. You want to try and get all that wax out if you can, because as you take your rag and polish, you're just going to move that wax around. Sometimes you have to come back with a razor blade tip and just kind of clean the edges out of the wax. And I got pretty good eyesight, so I can see it. And then just kind of pick it out with the tip of the razor blade very carefully. So I'm pretty astute at doing that. And they dip these in wax, or pour them in wax, just as an insulation. They do that on all pickups. People that don't know that, they kind of pick them up and they keep going like this and going, what's this crazy line I can't polish away, and it keeps moving and changing. Well, you're taking a little piece of wax on your rag that you've picked up from one of the pickup holes and scooted it along, so that's what you're doing. Doing pretty good here. We're making pretty good time. I'm not going to finish this in 20 more minutes, so this is going to be a two-part video, which I kind of anticipated anyway, and I'm perfectly fine with. We'll finish this tomorrow night, Christmas night, pending anything, you know, family-wise happening or whatever. I'll finish this tomorrow.
We've determined there are 59 of them. 78 at our last count. 78?
But look, this looks pretty good, and each time you polish this gold, it comes out a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better. Pretty happy with this so far. It's pretty nice. Yeah. So again, you want to be careful not to take any of that wax up. And if you do, use a different rag, because if you don't, all you're going to do is you're going to take it all over the guitar. So you want to pick that wax out. A lot of people don't know about the wax. Now I can double check my height. I'm going to pick up holes. Perfect. Whoops a daisy. My goodness, look what happened. There we go.
How did you get this? The first spare we came across.
There we go. Tip. I didn't have the tip screwdriver. Okay. I think we're golden. We're pretty good.
We're military vessel.
I think I can polish on the side here a little bit more.
Ship of exploration. If we're successful,
I got one little spot here I can redo.
Computer computer calling. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, I regret to inform you that your daughter was killed in the line of duty.
Oh yeah, beautiful. I'm pretty happy with it. Now I'll put the poles, the
She died.
pickups back down so I can polish the
Recording.
bezels. And I'm glad I got a different pickup, chose a different pickup, and chose a different bezel. The bezel was a little bit smaller, older, a newer generation bezel.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Taylor,
And it looked okay, but it didn't look 100% right. This does. This is now 100% factory. So I'm pretty happy. The ones I chose, I just kind of chose kind of semi off the cuff. You know, I just kind of chose it because it was 1999 and it was Epiphone. And in the back of my mind I figured, well, there's a possibility this might not fit or work. Albeit a very small possibility. And come to find out it wasn't going to work. So I chose different ones. And it turned out for the better. So I'm glad about that.
is big. This is big. Welcome to the big time NYPD Blue. Tonight starting at 1 a.m. 12 Central on H&I.
So tomorrow is Xmas. Somebody got mad at me the other day for calling Christmas Xmas. I just did it just to kind of, I don't know, just trying to be off the cuff and funny, I guess. And they like took extreme offense that I called it Xmas. I only did it once. I always call Christmas Christmas. I very rarely say Xmas unless it's just in a mild conversation or something. But they like took all offense to it. I was like, okay, sorry. Okay, the bezels look good. They're nice and clean. And this bezel that I chose is a 1999 bezel, and the pickup cover is a 1999. So everything is going to match that way.
I should know. I was an addict for 10 years. Now I'm not. To end your addiction now, visit passagesmalibu.com or call.
There's a little tiny burr right there I needed to take off. Okay. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. And I actually have more than one of these Epiphone Les Paul custom SGs. But they are not 0001 serial number like this one. I have one that's black, 3 pickup. I have one that is sparkle red, metal flake red. I also have one that's silver and blue flame burst metal flake. I think I've got a picture of that up on my Twitter and Facebook and my website. People go 8 bonkers over that guitar because it's a custom shop and it is literally a one of a kind, not figuratively, but literally a one of a kind. Because it's a custom shop. Okay, so what do we do next? Let's see. I think I can do the posts, studs for the
If we work together, we might be able to disable them. Charging weapons.
for the bridge. It's got some gunk on it. I don't know what it is. Huh.
Did some work on their power system.
What the heck is this gunk on here? It's weird.
The ship is heavily armored. At least we'd stand a chance.
I don't know what this gunk is. Oh, that's interesting. Huh.
Proceed to our starboard dock.
What the heck?
Make your word that my crew won't
That's
be
a
punished.
strange gunk on the
As the council sees
thing.
fit.
On the stud here. Kind of weird.
He's nearly reached the reptilians.
Okay, I can polish it because the gunk is gone. I don't know what that gunk was, but it was something. Gold tone hardware is funny stuff. It's I like gold tone, but it attracts and tarnishes, attracts dust more and tarnish. It's just weird. Very strange.
Open a channel today. Sir, he's charging weapons.
Sorry about that.
The reptilian ship has been destroyed. Captain, favors hearing this.
Nah. I'll break my nail doing this. I'm gonna have to use a little bit of razor blade on this. I hate to use a razor blade, but some strange gunk on here and it's not coming off. There we go. And this is a dull razor blade that I used in the shop, and I never throw away my dull razor blades until they are so dull that I could swallow it and it wouldn't do anything to me, you know. Sometimes you need a dull razor blade to do a little bit more delicate work. It doesn't require something so sharp.
Is there anything I can help you with?
Yeah, man.
Not unless you can resurrect the dead. Crewman Taylor had a real knack for this kind of thing. But Taylor's not here, is she? And neither is crewman Kamala, Aronson Marcel,
Come on.
or a dozen others. So forgive me. If I don't want the damn power cell.
Gotta be careful. I don't feel like cutting myself on Christmas Eve,
That's at her quarters.
even though it's a dull razor blade.
She made it a few more meters. I wouldn't be trying to write this damn letter. Because every time I start,
There
I
we
hear
go.
myself saying,
There's a chunk of this goop on here. I don't know what it is. Sometimes people glue the bridge to these studs, and you don't need to do that, because if you need to adjust the height on it, the tension, then you can't because you've freaking glued it down. And I think that's what happened here. Somebody freaking glued it, and it's like, no. You don't glue these down in place. I've seen people do some really dumb, notoriously dumb things on expensive guitars, like $5,000 Gibsons, and like glue, super glue the bridge in place, and it's like, oh my god, no. And then people bring me the guitar, and it takes me like 2-3 days just to get the dang glue unglued and then clean the glue off of it. And it's like, no, you don't do that. No. Okay, now we're doing it.
I envy you, Vulcans.
You think that the loss of a colleague or friend doesn't affect us?
Oops, I missed the spot.
But if we give in to those emotions, they overwhelm us. You're the ones to be envied.
Okay. Okay, first stud done. Okay, see, so it's, that took me, what, 10 minutes? 8 minutes? When it would normally take me like a minute, minute and a half. So it's these things that make these videos last a little longer. If I hadn't had an issue with the pickup, for instance, I would probably be done with this guitar right now. But again, that's fine. I mean, if I have to take an extra day on it, I have to take an extra day on it. I'm not trying to win a race here. I'm just trying to do a good job. I'd rather take 2 days and do a good job than rush and it just be a mediocre job. You know?
With the evidence you've shown me, they'll have no choice but to take us seriously. Even the reptilians? I'm more concerned about the aquatics. They can be somewhat enigmatic, but if we can sway them,
it's raining like crazy outside right now. I had to take an extra half hour and go outside and take in some of my more delicate Christmas decorations, which is a shame. Like some of my air-blown inflatables and stuff I had to bring in because you leave them outside and they fill up with water and get all muddy and dirty inside, and you don't want that.
we'll show you how to get through it. I'll meet you at the far end in 3 days. Will you be soon enough to step the weapon? I'll do everything I can to delay it.
Okay, here's the second one done. That one didn't have much goop on it. Only had a little bit of goop. Only had a little bit of goop on it. So, whatever. Now we'll do the adjusting posts for the bridge. Those won't take long. There's no goop on those.
See you in 3 days. 3 days.
See, I'm already wiping it off. It's almost done. Dang, I'm gonna quit at the second one because it's almost 1. And this video is going 2 hours and 15 minutes already, so unfortunately this will be a 2-part, 2-day video. But that's okay. And again, this is a 1999 Epiphone Les Paul Custom SG. That is serial number 0001, which means it was the first one off the assembly line in 1999. And I chose this guitar and stream to dedicate to a friend of mine, truthfully, Trisha, here on YouTube. And she's a really great streamer and friend here on YouTube. Check her out. Again, her name is Truthfully Trisha. And that's why I'm dedicating this guitar stream and guitar to her, because this is a number 1 one-off and unique guitar, and she is a unique and one-off person. And I consider her and her husband friends. Okay. I think that's where we're going to end this stream. And tomorrow I will do the bridge and the tailpiece, the knobs, the pick guard, the insignia, and then do the rest of the guitar. tomorrow. Time just got a little bit away from me today. Plus I got a late start. And I had to take an extra half hour and bring in some Christmas decorations that were going to be ruined by the rain that was not forecast for us. So here it is. So thank you again for joining me on this classic guitar video on this 1999 Epiphone Les Paul Custom SG. It is a one-of-a-kind in that it's a Epiphone Les Paul SG with 3 humbucker pickups, and the serial number is 0001, which means it was number 1 off the assembly line for Epiphone all guitars for the year 1999. And I'm dedicating this stream to my good friend here on YouTube, Truthfully Tricia. So thank you for joining me. Merry Christmas Eve, and we will see you tomorrow. Merry Christmas, and we will continue this in part 2. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas. And Merry Christmas to you, Tricia.